I'm
not
happy to
sure
play
why you're not in
monster.
here, dead.
I think
Yeah, there's like
Santa
8
was
of
playing
us. Oh,
monster,
there's
wasn't
Silver. Silver just joined.
Well, that's what I asked, but they told me I
Everyone
was
picked their
support.
role. I picked last, so I assume that he's not.
I'm not even sure I picked. Oh yeah, yeah.
he? Oh, I guess it was Thor playing monster then.
Yeah, so it was Thor was monster this time. Are you in the channel right now, Sound? If not, I can go ahead and invite you. Sorry about that, Dead and Silver. Monster and support are really heavy right now, Dead. Oh, okay, Mister. Okay, okay. So it looks like we're going to be starting with a Kraken versus Slim, Cabot, Griffin, and Lennox. Lennox, ever a popular pick, and Cabot for the weekend challenge. Let's give it for Cabot. Well, for now, just not Trapper. I'll get your preferences after this group matchup is done. Yeah, I'm not sure why it did the weird stream or weird chat. I was surprised that nobody was in chat because usually there's a couple lurkers. Okay, so rendering plant with Thorax and Impaler. So Thorax and I believe Edmund are both relatively new to coaching with the community. Hadrosaur as a veteran, as is Illusional, and Santa's been around for a good amount of time too. So it's going to be interesting to see how things go. So off to a sneaky start and then leaps off and starts flying. So I'm not sure if you're going to be sneaky, then you always be sneaky. If you're not going to be sneaky, don't be. There's no reason not to. And it looks like now with birds, he's going to go ahead and nope, does not stay for the Reaver and decides to head further southeast. Now this map is interesting. Most monsters tend to gravitate down here, and then when they're ready to evolve, they go up here because up here is better usually for combat, whereas down here is usually better for food, as well as there's a lot more distance, and up here it can get very claustrophobic. You can have a trapper sit here and camp out the entrance and everything like that. So Griffin put a sound spike just barely out of range, probably will not pick up the Kraken here. Interesting split. It is a 3-1 split with the Assault all by themselves. They need to be a little careful with that, and it looks like that the Kraken does see the Assault all by herself. Now the nice thing is you don't have to worry. There's the Pounce. So the Pounce might break through the shield. We'll see. Someone should be able to shoot her off pretty soon. And there's the shoot off, but the personal shield is down. If, depending on how gutsy you feel, you can actually do a pretty decent job of just staying on the assault at that point, and you might have even been able to get a strike because there's no personal shield, and Slim's healing, which he'll have to get a lot closer, so he can't rely on his bug because you're hitting it, and so Slim probably wouldn't have been able to heal it in time. I do like how the hunters fall back together, get closer to Slim, so I do like that. Monster is moving to the north section. Only needs a little bit more food, and it's already ready to evolve. So I love this little area over here. There's almost always a giant mound of striders, and it looks like he will be able to eating. He might go behind these pillars right over here and evolve, or back here right behind this wall. So it's going to be interesting to see where he goes. And it's interesting that the trapper is going so far ahead. And they're very, very close together. I would have liked to see a little bit better of a split, just because that way they can cover more ground. And so the trapper is hanging back until the evolution happens. So now the trapper could, in theory, catch up in time. But it doesn't look like they'll be able to dome the monster. They might catch. Okay, so they pinged it, and then the trapper knows exactly where it is. So the monster does get away. So now, because the trapper really needs to fall back, because all the monster has to do is get past the trapper, and you'll lose this choke point, which makes this a very, very valuable area. So the trapper absolutely should be heading south, I believe, and not directly to the monster. So it does look like the monster is probably going to get away. We'll see. As long as the monster doesn't stop for food, you should be good. Oh, and he does stop for food. Unfortunate. I feel like he probably could have just kept on bolting. And it looks like this might be a blind dome throw right here. And there we go. And where's the grip? And it does get him inside. So interesting area. So the best area for Kraken to fight is probably in this little cavernous area. You can knock somebody back there out of line of sight from the hunters. You have a Mega Mouth guarding up here. And there we go, seeing the power of Slim's wonderful spore gun. So it looks like he is trying to keep his distance. I would like to see him fly in the cave because there is a complete pillar that you can use in there. Looks like Lenny just using nothing but the anti-air gun. Cabot using his damage amp. And there we go. Now the monster does go into the caves. There's some food back here. And it does look like the monster is going to come out. I don't believe that there is a sound... Okay, there is a sound spike inside the arena. So getting a little bit of food, not very much permanent damage done. I feel that, again, the people are a little too clumped together with this group. I would like to see them a little bit spread out inside the combat engagement, just because that will allow people to keep line of sight on the monster at all times, and it will also allow the hunters to constantly do damage and put additional pressure on the monster. So be very careful when turning backwards. You have three really good aim classes. You have the Lennox AA gun, Cabot's railgun, and Griffin's rifle, all very, very easy to hit headshots. So without armor, you probably shouldn't look backwards, just because you're not really going to go delay them that much with Vortex anyway. So just be very careful about that. So Monster heading back down south. So still pretty strong with Monster play. Hunter, I would like to see a fly, a Slim's bug on Hadrosaur here. No reason not to keep him topped off. And here we go, get some additional armor. He should be past the halfway armor and ready for another engagement. I like that Cabot is staking on him and being very aggressive. Just be careful, he is by himself relatively. Trapper going for the cutoff. I like this play. I would have liked to see somebody else, because the monster could just go through and barrel through depending on the monster build and wreak havoc against the Trapper right away. So this will definitely fill up the armor, but again, you're eating too close to the hunters and they're just going to deny you of that food. And there goes the dome. It will capture the Kraken, and this is a very bad engagement for Kraken. There's no really good pillars to fight around, which means it's going to be very, very open right now. So it looks like I see... Oh, that Nomad doing great wonders there. It looks like that Kraken has 3 points in Vortex and 3 in Banshee Mines, I think. No Lightning Strike and no Aftershock. Very interesting build. This is a very close quarters build, and it's a very all-in. And so Edmund, very low health, but I don't think Kraken, Kraken finally sees that she's at low health and decides to go after her, and there we go. Lennox is down. So now we have the Trapper at less than a half. So right now, if he body camps right now, there's only a little bit of damage that these guys are doing. And so it's very easy to burst somebody down with a 3 Vortex and 3 Banshee build. And it looks like that the support just got down, and there we go. Sunny and, Slim and Griffin are the only 2 left. At this point, I would probably just bug out of there. Your assault is down, so you're not going to be able to burn this much health down, barring really, really bad monster play. So at this point, the best thing to do is kind of call it even and just keep it off of food as much as possible. Just because you're not going to be able to completely 100% down it. So right now, he is focusing after the support as much as possible, but that's Gun doing an amazing job of keeping the monster unaware of where the hunters are and their health pool. And there we go. Could have stopped for a couple bites to eat. In fact, I would probably do that while you're chasing somebody else. I've experimented with this 3 Banshee, 3 Vortex build. It's very, very all in, and you can burst somebody down really, really fast with it. You just have to be very, very careful because you kind of it kind of encourages a point blank build without going into aftershock. Here we go, monster ready for the 3rd evolution, and we will see what he picks, what skills he picks. And 3 in Lightning. Lightning, just a great strong ability altogether. It looks like the hunters are staying somewhat close and spread out. Cabot taking a position where hiding in the bushes. Monster going after 4 meats. I'm not a big fan of going after 4 meats unless you don't really have much of a choice. But right now I think that there's plenty of food on the map. Plus there's no reason to full armor. I would have probably gone after the relay to force the hunters to come to me, do a little bit of chip damage to them, and then also do some damage on the relay and then go for armor while they sit and camp the relay, because you have plenty of time left in the match. And here we go, Lennox about to be a cosmonaut fallen down. And Kraken is just about to hit the relay. It does look like that he is going to take a little bit of damage from Cabot. Kraken not quite sure where Cabot is being shot from, or shooting from, and does manage to scare away the monster a little bit. And now that the team's full reinforcements got by, let's go ahead and see how they set up their defenses. Here we go. Lighting the monster up, getting the damage amp. I'd like to see the damage amp coordinated a little bit better. I'm not sure how they're calling out. 2 people hit with the lightning strike. That's going to be very, very, very hard for Slim to start healing through unless Slim gets off some really good accuracy. Trapper almost down now, but I like the support came in and cloaked him. But it looks like he wandered out of the cloaking field and the Trapper goes down. So Assault's about to get hit by lightning, misses the lightning strike, and comes in for the plasma lance. Fantastic. Starting to put some very, very punishing of the body, and that's exactly what you want to do as an Assault, is punish, and that's exactly what her melee ability does. So Monster not enjoying the combat, just decides to lightning, hits Santa Claus. A couple of hunters are about half health, but Slim doing a great job of keeping away. Assault finally goes down, and now that the Assault is down, Monster has a bit more rain, and so now it's just down to Slim. I don't think Slim will be able to hold off for several minutes alone. If he can manage to get 1 hunter up, it could change things. But right now, it does not look likely. Now, the nice thing about being Slim being the last one is, look at that. That bug was amazingly well done. You always, always, always have to be careful. If the monster does lose, I would absolutely say it was because you weren't camping the bodies and you let Slim's bug start healing people. So always be very, very careful. Monster almost at a 3rd health here, and it does look like the monster still has a very strong commanding presence now. Doing a little bit of extra damage here. Santa Claus about to go down, misses with the lightning strike, and the hunters, this is actually going to be going either way. Cabot finally goes down, and it's just down to Edmund and Delusional here, Slim and Lennox, and the monster at almost a sixth of their health, and it's all down to Slim. Slim cannot use his bug to heal anybody anymore, and he just has to survive as much as possible. Doing a great job, and it looks like that there is the pounce. Really, really well played. That could have gone back, or that could have gone either way towards the end. Very close game.
Asthma too much.
GG.
Good round, guys.
That was really close at the
Yeah,
end. Let me go
I
ahead
feel
and
like
back
you
out.
guys abandoned me.
You guys did a great job rezzing people.
Yeah, I was going to say that at the very last fight. As soon as I saw that Slim was the last one left, I'm like, if Slim throws the bug on the right person and just makes the monster follow him, you could get the whole team up and everything like that. Really close game. I probably would have tried to see if you could time the damage amp. It felt like that the damage amp was just kind of put on now and again, and for sustained damage. I'd like to see a little bit better coordination with that. That being the case, I feel that when you started getting the assault, and she used her personal shield at the very beginning, and then they caught up with you, I feel like you probably actually could have stuck around and gotten it down, because you know that they have Slim, so the bug won't heal her because you're able to keep doing damage to her. And I think Slim was far enough away that I don't think he'd be able to get a heal burst off in time before you got that downed. Just some food for thought. As for the 3 Vortex, 3 Banshee Mine build, I do like that. It's a very all-in kind of a build, and so I played with it for a while, but after a while I realized that it was kind of scary, because you could, like, if you go after any hunter, you kind of have to go into a dome situation, and so I don't know, but I like it. It made it work. It was really good.
I used to do the Aftershock build and that got kind of boring, so I decided to try the Banshees, and I've been working on that for a while now.
I think Banshees are underrated. I mean, yes, they can be shot down, but I've never liked Aftershock. It was crappy to begin with, and I still think it's a little strong, in my opinion. But yeah, for the hunters, pretty good. I would like to see a little bit better positional. The monster was able to get away with a lot right after it evolved. You weren't able to do that much permanent damage, even though there wasn't any real room for him to maneuver. And I feel like you were kind of just going around in a kind of a Zerg and an AoE group. So just kind of be careful, and just kind of when a dome does come down, especially against Kraken, it's more about positioning yourself so that you have somewhere to hide if need be, because you know Kraken really requires line of sight. But you guys were doing really good towards the end. Very well done.
I feel like doing that sacrifice is abandoned.
Did they leave you?
Would someone else like to take Monster for the next round?